Hello everyone. Our today's topic is greenhouse effect. Earth, which is the third planet from Sun, where variety of living organisms exist on it. Earth is different from the other planets, where in the other planets they have either very high temperature or they have very low temperature. Earth is having very stable temperature. What makes this earth to get this stable temperature? That is nothing but the earth is surrounded by a thin layer of a blanket, which we call it as a earth's atmosphere. This atmosphere consists of air, which is a mixture of different gases. The sunlight, from the sun, different kinds of the radiations are hitting on this earth's surface, where our atmosphere is the one which is protecting us from those harmful radiations. For example, how the umbrella protects you from the sunlight and also from the rain, in the same way our earth's atmosphere is protecting the organisms on the earth. And this is the one which is giving the stable temperature to the earth, and where all living organisms can exist on it. And in the last few hundreds of years, what is happening is there is a change in this global environment because of human activities, where we to fulfill the need of this human population and also the advancement in science and technology, we are manipulating this environment. In doing so, we have caused imbalance in our environment and also many of the environmental issues or problems. Greenhouse effect is one among them. Let us understand what do you mean by greenhouse. Greenhouse, which is an enclosed glass chamber which almost looks like a glass house, where you might have seen this glass house in certain gardens and all, where these greenhouses are used to grow the plants which require little high temperature than that of the outside. And also these greenhouses are used to grow plants throughout the year, even in the winter. What is the difference here is the temperature inside. The temperature inside is more than that of the outside. Why the temperature is more inside than outside? Because when the light enters from the sun to this greenhouse, what is happening is it is not allowing to, some of the light is got trapped in this greenhouse and it is absorbed over here, and which makes the greenhouse little warmer than the outside. And this is not allowing the light, whatever it entered here, it is not allowing it to escape outside. What is happening over here when the light enters the greenhouse? It does not allow to escape. Hence, what happens? The greenhouse warms up. So, how is this happening? See, if we take an example of vehicle which you have parked outside under the sun. What happens when you enter it after some time? You feel heat, right? In the same way, you can understand this, where in the greenhouse the temperature is little high than that of the outside, because it has absorbed the light which has coming from the, it did not allow to escape those heat energy which is coming from the sun. So why we have given this name greenhouse effect or greenhouse effect to this topic? Let us understand. This greenhouse effect which is a natural phenomena occurring on our Earth's surface, where because of this phenomena, Earth's surface will get heat. Not only the Earth's surface, even the atmosphere also will get heat. The average temperature of Earth is around 15 degrees centigrade because of this greenhouse effect. If this wouldn't have happened, then if there is no greenhouse effect, then the average temperature of the Earth would have been minus 18 degree. That is very chill temperature for the Earth. So this is about the greenhouse phenomena. Now let us understand what do you mean by greenhouse effect. So now let us understand this greenhouse effect. To understand this greenhouse effect, we should first understand what is happening to the sun rays or the heat energy which is coming from the sun. So here you can see from the sun the rays are hitting the Earth's atmosphere. So many of it are reflecting back from the sun. You can see some of the rays which are very harmful like UV and all, those rays are directly reflected back into the space with the help of this, because of this ozone layer. And whatever the Earth, from the radiations which are entering the Earth's atmosphere, most of it are absorbed by clouds and some gases. So 1/4 of it will be reflected back into the space. And so the remaining radiations such as visible radiations which are having long wavelengths will reach the Earth's surface. When it reaches the Earth's surface, the Earth will absorb these radiations. And the radiations like infrared rays which are coming from the sun, when they hit the Earth's surface, they will be reflected back to the space. Where when some of the gases which are present here in the atmosphere, which are those like carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide and all, what do? They will absorb the molecules of that gases. For example, like this, when the infrared radiation is hitting those molecules, they will absorb and re-emit. The molecules will absorb and re-emit. So the heat will be collected here only, making this warm. So let us compare this. You have understood in greenhouse what was happening, right? So when the radiations from the sun which they are getting is, some of the heat will be absorbed by the glass house. So where the temperature is more inside the glass house compared to that of the outside. In the same way, because of these greenhouse gases where they are absorbing the radiations like infrared radiations, they are absorbing, and because of that what is happening, they are absorbing and emitting here. The atmosphere is made, because of these gases there is a heat over here, the average temperature which is 15 degree centigrade. So in this way these greenhouse gases are maintaining the Earth's stable temperature. So when the radiations are hitting on the Earth's surface, some of the radiations are reflected back to the space directly, and some of it will be absorbed by the clouds, and 1/4 of it will be reflected back into the space, and some of the radiations like long wavelengths will be absorbed by the Earth's surface, which is making the Earth's surface little bit heat, and most of the radiations like infrared radiations, when they are reflecting back, some of the gases like the carbon dioxide, methane, which we call them as a greenhouse gases, they will absorb these radiation and make this atmosphere heat. So in this way the Earth's temperature is stable. And let us see the relative contribution of different greenhouse gases to this global warming. Here you can see the 60% of the carbon dioxide gas, which is these are the greenhouse gases, and the 20% of the methane, 14% of the CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, and 6% of the nitrous oxide. All these are greenhouse gases. So lot of questions will be arising in your CET and NEET examination with this. If you look into the previous papers, where you can see carbon dioxide is contributing more to this warming of the Earth atmosphere compared to the methane, and methane is contributing more compared to CFCs, and CFCs contributing more compared to the nitrous oxide. So in this way the atmosphere is having the stable temperature because of this greenhouse effect. So this greenhouse effect is a natural phenomenon where our Earth should maintain a stable temperature, and if this greenhouse effect would have not been there, then what would have happened? About minus 18 degrees centigrade temperature. It would have been so chill temperature, as there is a more reflection of those radiations which are coming here, right? So in this way the Earth's temperature is maintained with this greenhouse effect. We have understood the greenhouse effect, which is a very natural phenomena where it is keeping our Earth's atmosphere temperature stable. Because of our activities, we are increasing those greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, CFCs and all. Let us understand what happens if we are increasing those greenhouse gases. What is the effect of it, that increase in the greenhouse gases? So the first effect is carbon dioxide fertilization effect. What do you mean by carbon dioxide fertilization effect? First of all, we know that the raw materials for the photosynthesis is carbon dioxide, water, light and all. So carbon dioxide is one of the raw material. If there is a favorable temperature, nutrients and water supply and everything is there, if we increase the carbon dioxide concentration, what happens? Around 30% of the production of will be increased. This we call it as a carbon dioxide fertilization effect. As there is increase in the carbon dioxide, there is an increase in the growth of the C3 plants. And also, because there is increase in carbon dioxide in this atmosphere, the plant species will grow even in the water scarcity. How is it possible? When there is an increase in the carbon dioxide concentration, there is a partial closure of the stomata. So when the stomata are closed, what will happen? They will decrease the transpiration. So most of the water was getting lost due to this transpiration. When the transpiration is reduced, they don't require much water. That is why when the carbon dioxide concentration increased, the plants some of the plant species they may grow successfully even in the water scarcity. The next thing is plant may grow in nutrient poor soil. How is it possible? Because of this increase in the carbon dioxide concentration, there will be greater development of the roots. When the roots are developed, the fungi like mycorrhiza and all will be more, and there will be a lot of nutrients supplied to the plant. So even the soil does not have the nutrients, the fungi will be providing it. So the plant may grow in the nutrient soil. This is what the carbon dioxide fertilization effect. So this is one of the effect of increase in the greenhouse gas, that is carbon dioxide. Let us study the other effect. So the possible effect of global warming. So because of increase in the greenhouse gases, what will happen? Global warming will be happening. What is this global warming? Due to the increase in the level of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane and all, what happens? So you have understood, right? The earth is covered with the atmosphere. So here greenhouse gases are there. Those are the ones which are trapping the sunlight and making the earth's atmosphere warm. If there is increase in these gases, what will happen? Of course, the atmosphere will have more temperature. That is what, if there is increase in the level of greenhouse gases, what will happen? There will be heating of earth. This is what we call it as a global warming. In the last few hundred years, the temperature of earth has been increased. The average temperature of earth has been increased by 0.6%. Especially this 30%, this has been increased more with last 3 decades. This increase in temperature will give us deleterious change in the environment. Still, researchers are studying the effects of this global warming, and which will give the odd climatic change, for example, El Nino effect. Because of this global warming, it also affects the weather and climate, and also it affects the species distribution. As if the temperature increased by the global warming, it also affects the food production. And let us study another effect of greenhouse effect. Because of this greenhouse gases, there will be increase in the temperature, that is global warming is occurring. And because of this, what will happen? Melting of the polar ice caps will occur. And also there will be rise in the sea level. If there is a rise in sea level, what will happen? There will be change in the pattern of the rainfall. And because of melting of polar ice caps and all, and rise in the sea level, what happens? The plants or animals or human beings who are living near to the seashore will be, near to the coastal areas will be submerged. Okay, who is telling this? 0.6% is increased and this much of the greenhouse gases are increased. Who are going to tell us all the, who is giving information about all these things to us? So who is monitoring? The answer is IPCC. What do you mean by IPCC? It's an Intergovernmental Panel on Climatic Change. They are the one who are monitoring the atmospheric concentration of greenhouse gases. In the atmosphere, what is the concentration of greenhouse gases? They are telling, and also what will be the possible impact if the temperature of the earth increased, which we call it as a global warming. What is the impact on this global climate and also to the related issues. So this is about the greenhouse effects of greenhouse effect. As when there is an increase in the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, what are all the effects which we are facing because of this increase in greenhouse gases? We have understood that. I hope you got it. We have understood the effect of greenhouse increase in the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. You have also understood the effect of global warming. Now, what we have to do to reduce these effects? Scientists are really thinking that we should apply some strategies to reduce these greenhouse gases, to reduce the effects of it. So, the first one we can see is cutting down the use of fossil fuels. So, cutting down the like petrol, diesel and all, if we have to reduce the use of it, means we should search for the alternative resources instead of this fossil fuels like wind energy and wind, water, like this natural sources. From them we should, solar energy, from them we should use those energy, and we should improve the efficiency of energy usage, and also we should reduce the deforestation, and we should plant, not only reducing the deforestation, we should plant more trees, and we should slowing down the population growth. And the last one is we also should search for the substitutes for chlorofluorocarbons, which is one of the major cause of this global warming. So in this greenhouse effect, we have understood what do you mean by greenhouse and which are all the greenhouse gases, and about the natural phenomena greenhouse effect and effects of increase in the greenhouse gases because of human activities, and also we have understood how we should reduce these greenhouse gases.